So coming back from regular training one night, I got a text on my phone. It was from one of my old opponents named Lucas. He was inviting me to an open mat that was coming up this Saturday. This wasn't just any open mat, however. There were 3 main gyms involved: Embrace, Jiujitsu Performance Academy, and Schell Shock BJJ. These are gyms that are constantly at every local competition in North Carolina. Later in this week, I received yet another message, this time from a student at Schell Shock, none other than my good friend Jack. This meant that upon attending this open mat, I would be faced with my closest rivals. To give you a little more backstory, back in early September, I faced Lucas at Tap Cancer Route, Butner. I managed to pull off the victory almost 10-0, but not without almost submitting to the tightest buggy choke I have ever been in. More recently in November, I faced Jack at Toro Cup.
Cornwell takes the back and he's attacking the choke.
I lost this match 6-2 with a back take at the last 10 seconds of the match. These were some of the hardest fought matches I have ever come across in my jiu-jitsu career. I gladly accepted this offer and prepared for absolute war. One of the first people I meet is named Conrad Faust, one of the top black belts training at Jiu-Jitsu Performance Academy. Before my roll with Lucas, I got a quick roll in with Conrad to see if I can identify anything in Conrad's game that could help me in my roll against Lucas. Unfortunately, the only thing I learned is it's gonna be a long damn time until I get my black belt. Nonetheless, I still had one more opponent before facing my previous rivals. His name was John Schell. After knowing John for so long and finally getting a roll with him, I now know why Jack is so good. But after rolling with both Conrad and John, it was finally time to face my first opponent, Lucas. I'll start off the match by grabbing double ankle grips and look for a throw by Toriando. Lucas will grab a double wrist grip and use that right hand to stuff my left arm towards my center line. He'll use this to realign himself in front of me and deny me the angle I need to pass. He'll then switch to a tricep grip and look for an arm drag. He'll start this by first grabbing my tricep and dragging my shoulder down in the mat as he pushes my hand into my stomach. And that's when he pulls himself up and grabs my far lat with his left hand. Fortunately, I'm able to weave my left hand in front of his face and push him back down to avoid the back take. I look to knee slice, but he's able to engage that De La Hiva hook, allowing him to frame with his knee shield. Because of the knee shield, I'm now vulnerable to a deep half entry due to me not being able to get chest to chest. I create space and re-pummel for the underhook. I then try to knee slice again, but Lucas already had so much control of my hips, he was able to elevate me and re-guard. We settle into headquarters, which is my preferred passing position. He'll cause me to relieve pressure by threatening an arm lock. As I posture up, he then grabs a collar tie, attempting to pull my head down. I back away to avoid the collar tie, but as you see, my right leg takes a step backwards, giving Lucas just enough hip mobility to swivel his hips and grab my far leg.
See you, chump.
Now that I'm severely off balance, he switches his left leg to the inside position and then jumps over my left leg to finish a knee bar. As we set up again, I look to leg pommel to the inside to try to set up my headquarters position. I know Lucas is actually a butterfly player, so I know he definitely prefers both feet in. I try to use my right hand to push on his right knee and leg pommel over his right leg. However, I unfortunately walk into a trap.
You've activated my trap card!
He'll start by grabbing a wrist grip on my right arm. He'll then use a collar tie to pull me forward and elevate me with his inside leg. I try to step deep into the pocket of his knee with my right leg, but he catches me before my foot even touches the ground and uses a scissor sweep to reverse the position.
Okay, you went from everything okay to, oh shit, this is going terrible.
Now on bottom, I try to keep my elbow and knee connected to maintain the inside. As he shifts his hip to the left, this offsets his weight. He also has no limbs to recover with, so I'm able to push him over and come back on top. I try to loose knee slice by collapsing my hips on top of his knee shield, but he's able to frame on my hip and this allows him to re-engage his bottom leg. Okay, so I know it looks pretty bad. I've gotten submitted, swept, and just overall, Lucas has absolutely dominated this whole match so far. However, I realized something.
The prophecy is true.
I've been playing into Lucas's game this whole time, utilizing lackluster entries into headquarters, feeding right into his butterfly guard. But it was at this moment I had an epiphany that would shift the tides of this match. Instead of just trying to go through his guard, I can also go around it. Using this newfound knowledge, I'm gonna grab double ankle grips. I then pass off his right leg to my right hand and look to cut an angle towards the left side. As I make this transition, I use my left hand to reach out and grab his head and pull it towards my hip. By pulling his head towards my hip, it should negate his ability to shrimp out to his right side. However, he manages to frame against my hips and come out towards the left. I maintain control of both of his ankles, and right now I'm positioning myself to try and be above his head. I should have the advantage here by pushing against his pull, however he's able to off balance me and realign our center lines. Right before he's able to regard, however, I make a very calculated decision. I believe I can fly. But seriously, while it looked a little jumpy and spastic, I actually thought of a few things. I made sure to dive for the crossface and have my shoulder digging into his chin when I land. Also, I didn't just jump outward. My left leg first went up and then out to clear his hook. Lucas will try bucking me off, but I switch my hips and my left knee beats his knee into the inside so I can square up into a better side control. As he tries to hit me off again, I sit back looking to attack his back, but end up in a rear triangle. I look to move into a Kimura grip to prevent any more explosive movements and form a stronger connection to Lucas. As he bridges again, I slip down onto his back with an already fully locked body triangle. Alright guys, now it's time. Time to finally get some revenge for that knee bar earlier in the round. I take my left hand and drive it right under his chin, and then I cover my hand using my chin to try and prevent Lucas from being able to rip it out. I can feel him sinking, but I still need my right hand to finish the choke. As I go to move back, however, he's finally able to dig out my left hand and prevent the submission. He'll grab a 2-on-1 wrist grip and use this to free himself from the seatbelt. As we scramble, we almost hit another group, so we reset back to somewhere safer. Okay, so now in this position, I actually see an opening to hit a really sneaky triangle. As Lucas is trying to push down on my right leg, he leaves a pocket between his arm and his torso, enough for me to slip my left foot inside, stalling his arm just long enough so I can throw my right leg over and move into the triangle. He does a good job at keeping both hands in the triangle, giving him enough room to breathe. However, I'm eventually able to weave my right arm inside and break his grip. I try as hard as I can, but unfortunately, Lucas got the best of me in this roll, and time runs out. Okay, so I know I said I was going to be fighting two opponents, two rivals. However, we're already at 7 minutes, and Jack and I's roll is about 6 minutes long. So to keep this video a little short and sweet, I'm going to include Jack's roll in the next video. However, I highly recommend subscribing and turning on notifications because that roll was probably one of the most entertaining back and forth matches I've ever had. Also, I unfortunately wasn't able to finish on Lucas's back.
What?
But let's see if I can pull off the submission on Jack. Also, one last piece of news. If you guys follow me on Instagram, then you would already know. In May of 2023, I'll be going on the Rolling in Saga retreat with the YouTube Jiu-Jitsu legends such as Jedi Does Jiu-Jitsu, Jordan Teaches Jiu-Jitsu, and Tyler Spangler. So if you're interested in keeping up with that, make sure to like and subscribe. Otherwise, I will see all of you in the next video.